In LA this week, summer is here and that means flying in and out of LAX. But we have a big traffic alert for you. Stay for details on what's being called the Century Crunch.
Are you okay to drive? Is a ridiculous question. If you're asking it, they probably have had too much to drink.
And we all know the warning, don't drink and drive. But does that include being buzzed? An important reminder as we head into the 4th of July weekend.
Union Station recently celebrated its 75th anniversary. I'm Rasha Goel. Up next, I'll have more on an exhibition that highlights this iconic transportation hub.
Hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. It's no Carmageddon, but people heading to LAX on the last weekend of July are strongly urged to plan ahead. A major thoroughfare will be closing for repairs, promising traffic delays for anyone who dares to venture that way. Gil Reyes reports on the Century Crunch.
LA drivers, you've been warned. If at all possible, avoid this area on the weekend of July 25th to the 28th. We're on Century Boulevard near LAX.
A few days of inconvenience for a lifetime of improvements. I think it's well worth that investment.
LA officials brace for what's being called the Century Crunch, a 57-hour demolition project that will shut down a stretch of Century Boulevard, a major artery to the airport. Crews will be tearing down an unused railroad bridge at Aviation to make room for the Crenshaw LAX rail line station.
Helping bring a rail line to within a mile of the airport and a people connector that'll one day get people on transit all the way to the airport. So small price to pay, 57 hours of inconvenience, but we have a great track record, no pun intended, a great track record of being able to do this given the 405 closures that were a great success too.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti is referring to Carmageddon's 1 and 2, freeway projects that shut down parts of the 405 freeway in 2011 and 2012. No major problems then because drivers heeded the warnings and pretty much avoided those areas. Officials are hoping for a repeat in late July. But if you must head to LAX that weekend, you're urged to take public transit. This will help reduce the number of vehicles on the road.
Lastly, do add extra time for either meeting the aircraft you're trying to meet or taking off on the aircraft you're trying to take off on, because this will take longer, even for the mass transit options.
On what's traditionally already one of the busiest travel periods of the summer. Near LAX, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
That stretch of Century Boulevard will be shut down from Friday night, July 25th to Monday morning, July 28th. And we should mention Metro has officially announced it will build a people mover once the rail station near LAX is completed that will take passengers into airport terminals. As we prepare to celebrate the 4th of July with barbecues and perhaps some drinking, a new public safety campaign reminds drivers it's not okay to drive while buzzed. Here's Anna Marcos.
Buzz driving, drunk driving, impaired driving, don't do it.
A 51-foot banner helps highlight the new summer campaign on the dangers of not only drunk driving, but buzz driving as well.
A lot of people still say, hey, I just had a couple beers, I'm only buzzed. But what we're telling you is buzzed, you're still impaired, you can still be arrested. It does affect you. You may not be that guy that's stumbling drunk, but you feel buzzed. It is affecting your motor coordination and your skills.
The LAPD's Valley Bureau teamed up with Rush Hour National and the Ad Council for the campaign, which will run in the Valley from July 1st through Labor Day. They advise drivers to refrain from drinking and driving, especially after sporting events and during 4th of July.
Our mission is very simple: let our consumers see this great message and for them to take this into very deep consideration.
Police remind drivers of the costs involved. A DUI offense can set you back on average between $10,000 to $15,000 when you include fees, fines, and the resulting higher insurance rates.
Are you okay to drive? Is a ridiculous question. If you're asking it, they probably have had too much to drink. You need to help that person find a safe way home.
Organizers say even those who don't drink and drive have a responsibility to keep our roads safe. Here are some safety tips. Wear your seatbelts at all times. Call 911 if you suspect anyone on the road of drinking and driving. And don't let people you know drink and drive.
Remember, buzz driving is drunk driving.
Organizers believe drinking and driving can only be stopped in its tracks if everyone on the road sobers up to its dangers. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
The LAPD made 14,820 DUI arrests last year, about half of them in the Valley. They will run several sobriety checkpoints over the summer. If you've ever filled out a job application, you've seen the question, have you ever been convicted of a felony? As Gilreas reports, government employers may not be able to ask that question anymore.
Ban the box! Ban the box!
Some of these protesters outside City Hall are convicted felons eager to turn their lives around. But this hasn't been easy.
I served 25 years in prison. I got out 2 years ago. And from there on, it's been very difficult for me to find any type of employment.
But job opportunities could soon be improving for ex-cons seeking employment with the city and the county. A new state law bans local governments from asking about past criminal convictions on their job applications. Ban the box refers to banning those questions that some say unfairly stigmatize former criminals.
I was already punished. I already served my time for the crime that I committed. And I feel that I should be given equal opportunity to work and support America, to support the community.
Los Angeles is the city of second chances. Los Angeles is the city of second chances. Los Angeles is a city of second chances.
LA City leaders could soon be taking this new state law, known as Assembly Bill 218, a step further by possibly prohibiting private employers like restaurants from also asking these questions on job applications. LA City Councilman Curran Price has introduced a motion calling on city departments to study the possibility.
A criminal record reduces the likelihood of a job by over 50%. And, job gains are already terribly low in our community. The impact is even greater among African Americans and Latinos.
The option under consideration by the mayor and the LA City Council is already law in the city of San Francisco and also under consideration in New York City. Outside LA City Hall, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
While LA City leaders consider what to do about private employers asking about criminal history, State Assembly Bill 218 prohibiting government jobs from asking that question goes into effect throughout California on July 1st. The city celebrates the heritage of various groups each year with its Latino, African American, or Asian American Heritage Month celebrations. As Tara Gibson tells us, this time around, city leaders are celebrating an often unsung group, immigrants.
The fact that by being recognized by my council member, it tells me that our council member do really cares about the immigrant community on the west side.
Geronimo Garcia, himself an immigrant, was honored at City Hall during the city's Immigration Heritage Month celebration for his work with the immigrant community on the city's west side.
A lot of people tend to think that on the west side there's not a lot of immigrants, but there's a lot of immigrants. So, I do a lot of organizing, I do civic engagement, and public participation.
Councilman Gil Cedillo says he's proud to celebrate immigrants because they've made and continue to make America what it is today.
This country is uniquely a country of immigrants, and every person here can trace their history to an immigration history. And so the city's proud today to announce Immigration Month.
Councilman Cedillo says he hopes celebrations like this one will send a message to the president to stop deportation of undocumented immigrants.
Immigrants are essential to the future of our economy. We must continue to advocate and speak aloud for the presence of immigrants.
National Immigration Heritage Month was born here in Los Angeles. Its purpose was to create a platform and to celebrate those who have made an achievement.
As an elected official for over 2 decades, I've always been a supporter of immigrants and immigrant rights.
City leaders say it's important to recognize these individuals whose blood, sweat, and tears have helped build our city and our nation. I'm Tara Gibson reporting for LA This Week.
City officials partnered with Welcome.us, a nonprofit organization, to develop Immigration Heritage Month nationwide. businesses that cheat workers out of their pay. The crime is called wage theft. Gil Reyes tells us why city leaders want stronger enforcement locally.
So many workers speaking so many different languages, united today with one clear message.
We're here to say that wage theft is a crime. We are ready for a city ordinance that treats it as a crime.
Workers from the restaurant, car wash, and garment industries gather outside City Hall to protest wage theft. That's when companies cheat workers out of their earnings. This may include not paying minimum wage, not paying overtime, or not paying at all. Local leaders call Los Angeles the wage theft capital of the nation. A UCLA study finds LA's low-wage workers are cheated out of more than $26 million per week.
If you steal from a store, you go to jail. But employers who cheat their workers out of their hard-earned wages usually get away with it.
That's because the state system for recovering lost earnings is bound in red tape and could take years. When it's finally time to collect, many violating companies have shut down or changed their names to avoid detection and payments. So, LA City Council members Paul Koretz and Gil Cedillo have introduced a motion asking the city attorney to draft a local anti-wage theft ordinance in hopes of speedier punishments for violating companies.
Whether it's removing their permits or shutting them down or fining them, that's a way for us to protect these workers.
Other U.S. cities, including Denver, Colorado, and Austin, Texas, have passed similar anti-wage theft ordinances on the local level. Outside City Hall, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Exact details of the proposed ordinance are still being worked out. They may include hiring more personnel at the city attorney's office to prosecute and collect from unscrupulous companies. The mayor joined Councilmember Gil Cedillo on a recent Saturday to knock on doors in Highland Park. As Siobhan Burton explains, these house calls are meant to make City Hall and all of its services more accessible to residents.
Mayor Eric Garcetti and Councilmember Gil Cedillo surprised residents of Highland Park by personally going door to door and asking for their opinions on how to better the community.
Oh, I said, well, he's going to come. He's going to come over here and see us. And that's very nice of him, because sometimes when you vote for someone, you never know them.
You know, you're only going to hear the problems that people have and find the answers if you go out to where people work and live in their neighborhoods.
And Visit the Neighborhood is exactly what they did. Residents were able to voice their concerns ranging from graffiti to sidewalk repair, even the necessity for additional speed bumps for the safety of neighborhood children. And some residents showed up just because they were happy to see community leadership outside of City Hall.
The turnout tells us that we're doing the right thing. We've got great turnout. It's early in the morning and people are participating. That means they have confidence in the leadership. It means we're eliminating cynicism and that we're really looking forward.
And another added benefit of the mayor and the councilman's visit, getting folks involved.
I would definitely be more active in the community thanks to this visit.
I'm Siobhan Burton for LA This Week.
The neighborhood walk culminated in an event at MacArthur Park where over 350 residents showed up to mingle with the mayor and council member and enjoy some refreshments. This year, the iconic Union Station celebrates its 75th anniversary. It threw a big party at the historic landmark back in May. But as Rasha Goel reports, the celebration continues with a free art exhibit.
Original drawings of Union Station line up the walls of the Getty Gallery at the Los Angeles Public Library's Central Library in downtown LA. In celebrating the station's 75th anniversary, the exhibition titled No Further West, The Story of Los Angeles Union Station explores the design process of the Southern California landmark.
Well, this exhibition really has an amazing collection of drawings, architectural drawings, artifacts, one of the original boards that listed the trains. We also have a great selection of historic photographs and memorabilia.
Union Station opened on May 3, 1939, and was the last grand railway station built in the U.S. It is considered one of Los Angeles's most iconic buildings, and architecturally is a blend of Mission Revival, Southwest, Spanish, and Art Deco styles. Built by 3 transcontinental railroads, Union Station centralized passenger travel in Los Angeles.
it really reflects and celebrates the aspirations and the optimism that was so much a part of Los Angeles in the 1920s and the early part of the 20th century.
Vincent Blocker from Burbank says he's a huge fan of the station and enjoyed being able to see it from a different perspective.
I think that the presentation of some of the details that contribute to the beauty of the station that are not so obvious when you're in the building is extremely interesting.
The exhibit is currently open and runs through August 10th, and on certain weekends, there's a chance to experience running model trains right here in the library's Getty Gallery. Reporting in downtown Los Angeles, I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
And that architect of Union Station is a man by the name of John Parkinson, who was also responsible for many other notable LA buildings. Yana Kay tells us how the city honored the man whose vision and talent helped shape LA into the iconic city it is today.
The family of renowned architect John Parkinson is being recognized by council members Tom LaBonge and Jose Huizar as they dedicate the intersection of Spring and 5th Streets in downtown Los Angeles to a man who has shaped the skyline of the city.
This is the greatest honor the city of Los Angeles could have given us, to recognize John Parkinson's legacy and his contribution to the city.
John Parkinson designed many of the city's most well-known structures, including City Hall, the Los Angeles Coliseum, Union Station, and many others.
Very special human being who made a life everlasting impact on the City of Angels.
With more than 50 buildings still standing, the British-born architect came to Los Angeles in 1894 and often worked with his son Donald to transform Los Angeles into a modern architectural masterpiece.
You look at some of the buildings that we cross by every day, and he's the one that designed them, that brought out this beautiful, unique Los Angeles architecture.
And even though John Parkinson has long been gone, his legacy will always stand tall and proud. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
The city commits money to help preserve street murals. Whole Foods caught charging customers more than it should have, and triplets of an endangered species born at the LA Zoo. These stories and more in City Beat. The LA City Council has approved $750,000 for the preservation and maintenance of street murals. Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell, who is chair of the city's Arts, Parks, Health, Aging, and Los Angeles River Committee, says this iconic cultural infrastructure, referring to murals, needs attention just like our roads and sidewalks. The Department of Cultural Affairs will administer the mural restoration program, which will include preservation, conservation, and historic restoration of significant murals, especially city-sponsored murals. Mayor Eric Garcetti recently returned from a trip to Dallas for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. Garcetti says many mayors came up to him during the conference wanting to know how Los Angeles is able to attract federal dollars for projects.
Here in LA, we've stepped up and we've taxed ourselves, so I think the lesson is, whether it's Dallas or here or Denver, you can't go to the federal government with an empty hat. You need to have that hat at least half filled, and then maybe you can ask them to top it off. And we're seeing great success in bringing federal dollars here.
While at the conference, Garcetti said mayors in a transportation committee unanimously supported his resolution, urging Congress to provide funds to cities to rebuild infrastructure. The Los Angeles City Attorney's Office will receive $210,000 as part of an agreement with Whole Foods Markets after a statewide investigation uncovered widespread pricing violations throughout the state of California. Los Angeles City Attorney Mike Feuer said in a statement released by his office, no consumer should ever be overcharged by their local market. The case grew out of a more than one-year investigation by inspectors that found the grocery chain was charging more than the advertised price for a wide variety of food items, often as a result of failing to deduct the weight of containers for self-serve foods or giving less weight than the amount stated on the label. The LA Zoo welcomed a set of Paraguayan Peccary triplets who were born on June 3rd. They are the first offspring of the mother and father peccaries at the zoo. The species is considered critically endangered, with a known population of 3,500 in the world.
Thought to be extinct for 30 years, and now they were rediscovered in the last 30 years. So it's really amazing to find that an animal we thought we had lost is actually still with us, and we can try and recover that species. Their main concerns for protection is that they get fragmented from other groups, from ranches that are getting developed in the area. Hunting still occurs with them, even though it shouldn't. So humans are actually the main cause of their demise right now.
The animals, found mostly in Paraguay and Bolivia, have bushy coats and small feet that they use to roam through thorny terrain. A neglected park in San Pedro is getting a long-deserved makeover this summer, thanks to residents who weren't willing to take no for an answer. Tara Gibson has the story.
A Dodgers dream field, outdoor fitness equipment, and a new volleyball and basketball court are what this open dirt space will soon have at Leland Recreation Center in San Pedro. Residents who live in the area say they're thrilled with the improvements.
It's just well overdue. Well overdue. We had bad element, that had moved in, and we're just really happy this is happening.
A few proactive neighborhood watch members put matters in their own hands to upgrade their gang, drug, and graffiti-infested park by reaching out to city officials to start the renovations.
We went to the Central San Pedro Neighborhood Council and did a presentation there, and they sort of had all the city entities there, and they took it very seriously.
As a Los Angeles native, Councilman Joe Buscaino says he remembers the safe environment parks provided him during his childhood days.
Parks are near and dear to my heart, and we should afford an opportunity for everyone to have a safe and clean, green park space.
Buscaino says a lack of funding and programming allowed Leland Park and other Los Angeles city parks to deteriorate.
We said enough is enough. We owe it to this community, we owe it to the kids.
Recreation and Parks General Manager Michael Scholl says it took a cry from the community to get Leland Park on track. I'm Tara Gibson, reporting for LA This Week.
And we've been reporting on a regular basis the city's progress as it commits to building 50 new parks in the city. The latest park, the 23rd park to open, has the city's teenagers especially excited. This park isn't about jungle gyms and monkey bars. Instead, this park in Sun Valley caters to those on wheels.
The neighborhood and the rails and everything about it, it's a good park.
It has a lot of things to do, and it's better than skating street.
2, 1. Skaters cheered on city leaders as they cut the ribbon on the Southeast Valley Skate Park on Sheldon Street, the largest skate park in the Southeast Valley. The $3 million street-style skate park features ledges, rails, stair steps, banks, ramps, and curves.
My opinion of the skate park is it's more safe, because you're in the street, cops can pull you over, and you could be on properties people, and then that's how they get mad and everything. So it's just good for a park, and that's how you make new friends and everything.
While the park was completed under Councilmember Nury Martinez, it was her predecessor, former councilmember and now Congressman Tony Cardenas, who had the vision and who wouldn't take no for an answer, despite naysayers who Cardenas said told him those kids didn't deserve a world-class park.
Your parents pay taxes like anybody else. You deserve a place to play, just like people in Beverly Hills deserve a place to play. You deserve to have the best park in the world, and that's what we built for you.
And if anyone is thinking of tagging this park or littering, think again.
I live about a block and a half away from here, so I keep an eye on this entire area every single day because I drive up and down Sheldon to get to my office. This took a lot of work, and if we want to make sure that we build nice facilities for this neighborhood, we need to take care of it.
Pro skater Rob Deerdeck had a hand in designing this park, as well as skaters in the community. And that takes us to This Week in Tweets. Councilwoman Nury Martinez shared on Twitter this photo of her standing on a skateboard in heels. She writes, "I'm getting my shred on at the Southeast Valley Skate Park grand opening in Sun Valley. So far, my teacher approves." And as you can see, the young man behind her giving her a thumbs up. And in this week's list of things to do, there's no shortage of places this 4th of July to watch fireworks, enjoy great jazz music, or take in bodybuilding contests at the beach. Councilman Curran Price and the Department of Recreation and Parks present the 4th of July Community Festival and Fireworks Show on Friday, July 4th from noon to 10 p.m. at Exposition Park, located at 3911 South Figueroa. Fireworks begin at around 9 p.m. The California Science Center and the California African American Museum will be free and open to the public during the day. Councilman Bernard Parks is also hosting 2 separate events on July 4th. The Jazz on the Hill at Norman O. Houston Park is being held in conjunction with the Department of Cultural Affairs. The music-focused celebration takes place from noon to 5 p.m. Parking will be at the Park Hills Community Church located at 5247 Overdale Drive with free shuttle pickup and drop-off every 15 to 20 minutes. You can call event organizers at 213-485-7616. And for those who want their fireworks, Councilman Parks is also hosting the Fireworks Extravaganza from noon to 10 p.m. at the Van Ness Rec Center, located at 5720 2nd Avenue. And what's Independence Day without a Mr. and Miss Muscle Beach contest at Venice Beach starting at 9 a.m.? The Venice Rec Center is located at 1800 Oceanfront Walk. The event is free to watch and $80 to compete. Prejudging begins at 10 a.m. with finals at 1 p.m. For more information on these 4th of July events and more, go to our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/LA This Week. And that's a look at some upcoming things to do. As we celebrate Independence Day this July 4th, One Air Show pays tribute to American heroes as they show off some impressive moves in the sky. Yana Kay reports.
David Valle has been taking his 13-year-old nephew Christopher to various American Heroes air shows for the last 5 years. And now he's keeping the family tradition alive by bringing his younger nieces and nephews to this year's show.
And now I want to keep it going, and I brought my other niece when she grew up and was old enough to understand. And now this guy, he's in love with airplanes. Every time he sees one, he's mesmerized.
Hundreds turned out at the American Heroes Air Show held at the Hansen Dam Sports Complex in the San Fernando Valley to witness public safety helicopters perform awe-inspiring flyovers and rescue stunts.
The best thing that I've seen today, in my opinion, was probably the skydivers. That was like really amazing.
These skydivers were certainly a crowd favorite as folks watched them blaze through the sky. The aviation event showcased private, military, and law enforcement helicopters from local, regional, state, and federal public safety agencies.
We're really understanding what it is that both military and civilian air patrols do for us, whether it's air rescue, whether it's medical lifting of patients. It all highlights all of that great stuff here today.
The American Heroes Air Show was first presented at the Santa Monica Airport in 1993 and has grown in popularity throughout the years as families get up close and personal with some real-life action while supporting our men and women in uniform. I'm Yana Kay for LA This Week.
And that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ellen Chang. A reminder that you can catch us online at LACityBeat.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.